welcome to the 4th episode of June. It's this point in the month, things start to feel a little more real, a little less avoidable, and maybe a little closer to home. Because once you start seeing things clearly, you can't really unsee them. At some point, you have to stop explaining things away. Not everything needs to be understood to be let go. That line alone is uncomfortable because most of us, we are taught the opposite. We were taught to explain, to justify, to give people the benefit of the doubt, to find reasons that make painful things feel acceptable. And so we become experts at excusing not just others, but situations, patterns, behavior, even our own discomfort. Sometimes we stay in situations not because they are good for us, but because they are familiar. And familiarity is a way of feeling like safety, even when it's slowly draining you. We start saying things like, "It's not that bad. They didn't mean it like that. They are just going through something. Maybe I'm too sensitive. Maybe I'm overreacting." And slowly, without noticing, we start moving away from ourselves. Not physically, emotionally. Because every excuse we make is a small moment where we abandon what we actually felt. And your feelings, they do not disappear just because you explain them anyway. They do not become less real. They do not become less valid. They do not become less true. They just get quieter until one day you stop hearing them clearly at all. But your feelings were never random. They were never trying to confuse you. They were signals. And signals don't need translation. They need attention. That tight feeling in your chest, that discomfort you ignore, that emotional exhaustion you keep normalizing, it's not noise. It's information. And healing does not begin with fixing everything around you. It begins with a moment of honesty that feels almost too simple. This does not feel right anymore. And then actually allowing yourself to believe it, not debating it, not defending it, not shrinking it, just accepting it. Because the truth is, the longer you keep excusing something, the longer you stay tied to it. Even if you've already outgrown it, even if it's already hurting you, even if a part of you is known for a long time. And that's the difficult part of healing. It's not always about leaving immediately. It's about finally seeing clearly without trying to soften what you already know is true. Because honesty, real honesty, is not harsh. It's freeing. It does not attack you. It returns you to yourself. And you don't need to rush into big decisions today. You do not need to force endings. You do not need to prove anything to anyone. But you do need to stop calling pain normal just because you have adapted to it. Because adapting is not the same as healing. And surviving something does not mean it's meant to stay in your life. Healing starts quietly, with recognition, with truth, with the courage to stop negotiating with what you already feel. And in that moment, something shifts. Not loudly, not dramatically, but deeply. Like you stop betraying yourself in small ways, just to keep things comfortable. And that is where healing actually begins. And maybe now, as this month comes to a close, I just want to add something more personal. If you have been here from the beginning of June, thank you. Not as a formality, but genuinely. Thank you for listening through the silence, for staying through the discomfort, for sitting with thoughts that are not always easy to hear, but often necessary to feel. This month, we didn't just talk. We slowed down. We looked at the parts of ourselves we usually rush past. And maybe if you are honest with yourself right now, you've changed a little this month. Not in a loud way, not in a dramatic transformation, but in a quieter way, a more aware way, a more honest way. Maybe you're noticing your thoughts differently. Maybe you are questioning things you used to accept without thinking. Maybe you are hearing yourself a little clearer than before. That matters, because growth is not always about becoming someone new. Sometimes it's just about returning to yourself without all the noise. And I know life does not change in 1 month, but awareness does something powerful. It stays. It lingers. It shifts how you see things moving forward. And that's enough for now. As we end this month, I do not want this to feel like an ending. I want it to feel like a pause, a breath before what's next. Because I'll be here next month too, with more episodes, more honesty, more space for the things we do not usually say out loud. And I hope you'll be here with me again, not because everything is fixed, but because we are learning how to understand ourselves a little better each time. So, thank you for trusting this space, for sitting with these words, for letting yourself feel things instead of running from them. You did not just listen this month. You reflected. You questioned. You grew. Even if it didn't feel like it's every day. And that matters. If this felt familiar to you, you're not alone. And also, I've been writing books from this same space. They are available on Amazon. And I'll share more soon. You can also find me on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Apple Podcast. Everything is linked in my bio. Don't forget to follow and share this with someone who might need it. Stay humble, pray every day, be kind to yourself and to others. And don't forget to tell the people you love that you love them. Bye for now.